So there's a simple trick to drawing any animal ear, and whether you want to draw cute anime catgirl ears, wolf ears, bears, lions, or even horse ears, it is basically all the same. So, okay, let's start with basics. Ears like this can be broken down into 2 or 3 basic shapes, which are the outside shell, the rim, and the inside. You will see them reappear in this video quite a lot, as they are the key to getting animal ears to look like, well, actual ears. And they're also really easy to spot on real life pictures. As you can see, it doesn't really matter which animal you reference. It all kind of works the same way. Just for comparison, you constantly see these 3 basic shapes in my own art. And they also work for different sizes too, as you can see on the character in the middle. The rim, which is the outer edge of the ear, is often forgotten by beginning artists, since they tend to have less detailed art. But hey, this doesn't mean that it's a mistake though, as animal ears can also be drawn without the rim. In my opinion, the rim can really sell the design of your animal ears, and it adds extra depth and detail. But in some art styles it's purposely left out, like in anime, but it's really up to you if you want to add it to your design. As you can see, you do not have to include it in order to draw a nice looking animal ear, as long as there is a clear difference between the outside shell and the inside. The real technique to drawing any animal ear is seeing them as cones instead of triangles. Here, let me show you. First off, I will be drawing some basic front angle ears on top of this dog's head. Make sure not to place them too close together though. Or how else are you going to pet him on his head? Really bad joke. So as you can see, we have our 3 basic shapes and they are all following the shape of the head. Something that's really important is that the outer shell should not be on the same horizontal level as the front of the ear. Most of the mass will be behind the front, depending on how the animal moves its ears. You basically just have to keep the perspective in mind. This can also be done without the rim. The same perspective rules apply here, just make sure to not make the outer shell too big. I quickly sketched some different examples with slightly different angles. How much is visible from the outer shell all depends on your point of view, and this counts for any type of animal ear. So it's important to keep in mind. I know that perspective can be hard, but hey, on the bright side, once you've studied it, you can apply it to so many situations, just like the ears right here. Oh, and what I meant by seeing the ears as a cone instead of a triangle is seeing them as a 3D shape. If you find it hard to draw animal ears in perspective, it might help you to draw them as a cone first. But to be honest, I'd rather just eyeball it. Stubbornness is a thing. But yeah, drawing them as a cone or even a cylinder might help. Lastly, to be able to draw any animal ear, you also have to pay attention to the amount of curves you put into your design. And what I mean with curves is the amount of bending that you put into your lines. For example, I tend to draw a lot of wolf ears, with both curved lines and also straight lines combined. If I were to increase the amount of curves like here, the ear would look much more rounded like a tiger or a bear. Changing the thickness of the rim can also make a big difference. Not everyone realizes how much a curve can change your design. So if you want your cat ears to truly look like cat ears, you really have to look at the pictures and determine actually how straight these lines are. Oh, and changing the thickness of the rim can also make a big difference. If the rim, for example, is really big, then you get a much more fluffy look to your ears. But if we go back to the subject of curves, I could also just choose to get rid of the round shapes altogether and have the ear look pointy, which is of course a very stylized look and also very anime, but it can work in a lot of designs. If you choose to draw the rim, the difference in thickness will determine the angle as well. If the left side is as thick as the right, you will get a more front angle look to it. I hope it makes sense when I say it like this. Okay, so I know I said lastly just a minute ago, but there is one more thing that I want to show you that will really make your animal ears stand out, and you can combine it with your own art style so well. And that is the inside of your animal ear. Generally, these are hollow with a little bit of fur inside, but with art, we do not always have to draw them that way. And because of this, you get to make a lot of choices depending on your own art style. If you were to adjust the basic shapes of your ear a lot, then you risk it not looking like an an ear anymore. But with the fur inside, you can basically do anything that you want. For example, you can be really modest with the fur that's inside, but you can also just make it very unique. Some animals have longer hair inside their ears and some have shorter, but you do not always have to stick with the real thing. I found that when I moved away from the realism, I ended up with some really nice designs that I ended up liking way more. If you have seen my fur tutorial, you know exactly how far you can take this. And you don't have to only apply it to the inside. You can also just use it on the rim and also on the outer shell. I don't really think that there's a limit to this, honestly. Drawing stuff like this can be really fun, so I highly suggest just doodling away and enjoying it, because you'll also practice the basic shapes while you do it. I hope this tutorial is helpful to you in a way, because I know it's not exactly a step-by-step video. And I hope that's okay. I tend to move away from them now, because I found that with my own art and my own growth as an artist, when I moved away from the step-by-step mindlessly following something, but instead actually understanding what I was drawing, I was able to grow much more as an artist and had less trouble drawing different subjects. But yeah, again, I hope it was helpful, or at least entertaining if you are already a pro at drawing animal ears. And if you want to learn how to draw nice looking fur, or just want to refresh your memory, you can click on the video on the screen. Also, I believe that this video was requested by one of my viewers. I'm not sure which one actually. But yeah, if you have trouble drawing something, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Bye!